Good evening. So, how many of you want to deploy Mojaloop on your machines? Thank you. Fantastic. Why?
It's just a skill that I want to learn, yeah.
Fantastic. Anyone else?
Well, to see maybe some use cases that can come around it.
I want to test it and make it faster.
I would say it's easier done that way instead of just having a production. So you can easily build solutions on your local machine. So it's even better.
Thank you. So, this being the last session of the day, I'll try to make it very easy for those of you who are interested and those of you who are not interested also. So, what I'll do is first, I'll give a walkthrough of what it is and I'll run it on my own box. And then for those of you who want to try it, we'll sit and see it through so that we can accommodate others as well. And they can focus on, let's say, the first 5 minutes and see what's going on, what it is about. And if they convert into believers, we can include them in our group as well. If not, they can continue with their schedule for the day. So first, for those of you who want to run, I'll give an overview, but these are the prerequisites. So you need Git, you need Docker, Docker Compose, and then you can go to your search and type Mojaloop core test harness. You don't need this whole link. And then the first link comes up is to that repository. Docker, once you have Docker, we can do this. But before doing it on my own box, I want to just give a brief overview of what it is. For those of you who followed the previous session, we talked about different levels of Mojaloop. And you can probably say this is the Mojaloop core test harness is probably the lowest level, like the stripped down version of Mojaloop without Kubernetes, without any like security or supporting services, just bare bones core services needed to run a peer-to-peer transfer at the very basic level. So this is for purely dev, QA, testing, demonstration purposes and for playing around. But before going too much into that, looking at the Mojaloop architecture overview, it's probably not visible there, but for those of you who are on Zoom, you can see it. What I want to focus on is there are two boxes on either side, a payer and a payee DFSP. And then inside the Mojaloop switch, there are several core services. Probably if you're not able to see it, that's fine. I'll name them. So there is an account lookup service, there is a coding service, there is a central ledger which itself contains several microservices. There are other services as well and supporting services that mock like directories, Oracle like meaning mapping services, things like that. But we will focus on the core services in the center and see how core test harness helps us deploy those locally. So core test harness is the current tool. We call it core because these are the core services, and you can use it to build a test harness. In fact, there are many applications to this. Recently, the performance work stream used this as a basis for running performance tests, identifying bottlenecks, fixing that. So probably, yeah, Luis, we can use that as reference. And then the components involved are the base Mojaloop core services of account lookup, central ledger, coding service. There are extensions like you can see as we go into a bit deeper into that, we can see that it also now supports FX based services and then monitoring and extensions like that. So there are several profiles here, but today, for those of you who are interested, who raised your hands, I want to at least get to a place where you can run a basic P2P, peer-to-peer transfer. So, prerequisites. While I'm talking, you can try to get these if you don't have already, but I believe most of you might already have these Docker Compose and that repository. So the base images are AMD64. If your laptop or machine does not support, there are scripts which can generate an image based on your platform. I can come to your machine and then we can look at that. And then run CTH, the core test harness. So there are several profiles. After running P2P, we can go into extensions. So you look in the README page of the core test harness that You have several profiles. There is a very basic use case or profile, and then profiles to do more for monitoring, for effects, for performance, SDKs, lots of extensions. And we can also see the Mojaloop demos. For example, some of you, if you want to show a Mojaloop demonstration, you can run this on your laptop and then show to your colleague or your customer, adopter, whoever it is that you want to show the demonstration of how it looks like. We also want to use it in QA and a development lifecycle as well by running this and running the end-to-end tests in our Circle CI and CI tools. So this is right now a very well-used tool in Mojaloop. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll run this locally, and then I'll come to each of you and see if you need help. Then we can go over those or debug any issues. So let me share my screen. I'll share my whole screen just to make it easy for now. Let's see. Okay, that's a bit small. So right now I'm in the core test harness folder. So if you are able to catch up with me, let's see, where are you right now? So far, we are very at the very basic level where you just clone this repository and you have your terminal or whatever you're using inside that directory. And then there is just one command actually. Kudos to the team members who developed this. It's very straightforward. There is a single Docker compose where we have all the services that are required for this. And I'll just paste this command. And if you're running it for the first time, it might take a bit longer than what it would take for me now, because it will pull all the images from Docker Hub. So there are about 5 to 8 images that it pulls. So I'm just going to copy and paste the command. You don't need to do anything extra here. So it's a Docker up command with a profile. So I'm running it. And then while it is running, I'll go to the README and show you. So what happens here is in the Docker compose file, we've defined what are the images we are using, what is the configuration, and what are all the things that it needs to run. And what it shows is once it is done, you will see a summary like this, that these many tests have run, these have passed, and once that is completed, we can actually go back and run the test again. So right now it's still running. You can see it is setting up everything, the various services. So once the services come up, it also has to run a setup script and then the actual test collection to show that everything is running as expected. So let me go to another window and see if the service is up and running or not. I'll do a Docker ps say, and you can see that the services are up. You can see like about a minute ago, these are up a few seconds. For those of you who are interested in details, you can see all the services. As I mentioned, the account lookup service and the coding service here, the central ledger. We also have a batch handler now, MLAP adapter, and the backend dependencies that are required, like MySQL, Kafka, and then some testing tools, the simulator, of course, and then the Mojaloop testing toolkit itself. So where are we here? So right now it's still running some requests, setting up. Two containers for? Yeah. So those are the containers that are running as part of the Docker Compose.
Oh, okay, yeah, there were two that exited. I was just
A job for tests, and another is another image I'm running for IAC. Yeah. Good observation, Luis. Yeah. So I can go to that and. So this is the older version of lib, and this is an IAC related one that I set up locally earlier. So you can see, it's probably not very visible, but you can see the number of tests that are running, how many passed, how many failed. This is being provisioned right now, so we're very close. We are about at 60 out of 99. Once this setup is done, then we have about 31 tests that will run. And then we'll do another test run separately. So right now what it is doing is it is setting up these services of account lookup, coding, in the architecture diagram that we had initially. If you remember, let me go back to that. So from this, it is setting up all these services locally. So the simulators for the two boxes on either side, and then three services in the inside, and then some supporting services for those. So that's what it's setting up. And those are done. It is running a test collection that will provision these, for example, like registering users so that we can run a peer-to-peer transfer, setting up accounts, onboarding DFSPs. That's what the test collection does. So you can see this. This is a summary of the collection that just ran, and it says that it has run 99, everything is good, and then it runs another smaller test collection now, which will show the result for about 31 tests. So this is actually the big messages you are seeing here. These are, for example, an individual message and the whole, like it could be a coding transfer or a lookup request. Okay, it is completed. Let me see if I can maximize this a bit. So this is the summary here. It shows, yeah, it shows 31 because we've increased a few tests, but it has run all the 31 assertions based on the single peer-to-peer test collection we have here, and everything is looking good. And in your local machine, if you are able to get to this place, it means that everything is working as expected. And then we can go to the UI and look at the demos as well. So if you continue onward on this README file, you can see there is a here. So this is where the testing toolkit UI is running. So let's go there. And so you have a place here where you can rerun the test. So here this is a test for P2P money transfer. Previously, it ran from the command line. Now we can run it from the UI. We can also go to the demo page here. So this could be very useful if you want to demo. And there is a mobile simulator option here. And hopefully this is visible, yeah. So there is a phone number here, an MS ISDN, which we want to use for P2P. It's a lookup request. And there is this sequence diagram here, which kind of enriches this demonstration by showing what's happening in the background. So there is a pink bank on the left side, a green bank, a Mojaloop switch, and we can see the various requests that are coming in and going out. There is a get parties call, which is the part of the account lookup, because we initiated this request to look up for this number. And then we got the details back about the end user. So I'll select a currency and then do a get code, and it will show the requests that are coming in and going out for this agreement phase. So there is a post codes, and then there is a put codes, which showed, okay, the fees for this will be about 0.5 Tanzanian shillings. If I say proceed, then it continues with the transfer. So you can do this on your own machine and show a Mojaloop transfer, and it also has many more details. So this is a rich information which we can use to talk about Mojaloop and what's going on inside. So the payer and the payee both receive notifications. On the left side, a simulator for a payer user, and then on the right side for the payee user. So we can run this from the command line, and then I want to go back to the README here and then show that there are several profiles here. You can run many things. For developers, the biggest use case is when you want to extend, or for example, like Luis is doing, you want to replace a particular service of the core with another one. You can build an image locally, use that version like latest in the Docker file, Docker Compose, and then do the same test. And you can do performance just like how we saw the video yesterday, or do some testing. So for dev QA, this can be very powerful. So that's all I had as a common presentation for everyone. But now, if you have any questions, or if you want any help, like if you want to continue on your machine, I can take a look at what's going on. So git docker compose on your machines, go to the Mojaloop core test harness repository. It's a single command. Okay, so you run the docker up command, and fantastic, it's running. Okay, great. So we'll come and take a look at if you can run the demo, like how I did. Thanks everyone. For those of you still not interested, that's all I have. But for those of you trying on your machines, I can come and check what's going on. Thanks. So before I call it the end, is there anyone online who has any questions? Let me check the chat once. I see 22 attendees, but no questions. So I'm going to assume you're all clear. And in any case, in the presentation, I have a link to the Mojaloop core test harness and the prerequisites. So please give it a try and reach out to me or any of Mojaloop contributors on Mojaloop Slack. Thank you.